Hello, my name is Anita Tonakarn-Wen, and welcome to the League of Women Voters of Westford video series. This video is one of several in a short series focused on the basics of town meeting, and we thought who best to speak to the ins and outs of town meeting than our town moderator, Angela Harkness. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Anita. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. For folks who don't know, town meeting follows the rules of town meeting time, which is this book here. It's a handbook of parliamentary law. And since parliamentary law is not usually part of someone's day-to-day routine, because it's definitely not mine, we wanted to break down some of the basics of town meeting procedures or motions for you in this video. So we're just going to go ahead and get started, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So Angela, what are motions?
So that's a great question and a good place to start. Motions are basically anything that is going to be discussed at town meeting. We start out with a series of motions that are articles put together by the Board of Selectmen and other committees and groups in town. And that is basically the agenda for town meeting, a listing of the items that we're going to discuss. And at town meeting, on the day of town meeting, each of those articles becomes a motion when the moderator refers to it and announces it, and it's seconded by somebody in the audience. And that gives us the okay to have town meeting discuss and then vote on the article, which is now a motion. Another type of motion really is about how we're going to allow the discussion to proceed. And there are very common motions that are made during the course of discussion, which I can just go over for a few minutes here so people are more familiar with them. Most commonly is discussion on a motion to amend. So if you're sitting at town meeting and you're listening to a discussion about a motion that's already on the floor, and you decide that, wow, this could really be phrased a different way, and it would be clearer, or it might have a slightly different effect, more in line with what the people at town meeting want. You can make a motion to amend the existing motion that's being discussed, and then after presenting that at town meeting and to the moderator, we can have discussion on that motion, and the original motion might be amended in accordance with what has been requested or not. It might be voted down. Another common motion is a motion to move the question. And what moving the question essentially means is that you've heard enough and that you think the other people in the room have also heard enough argument and discussion on the motion that's being discussed at the time. Anyone can stand up and make a motion to move the question or terminate debate, and immediately, without any further discussion, the town meeting would vote on either, yes, we've heard enough about this and we want to take a vote, or no, we feel like we need to have more discussion on this motion, so let's continue before we vote. Another common motion is a motion to table the question. And that means that you want to put off discussion of the motion until a later time during that town meeting. Maybe there's something that's going to happen in between that you feel will have an effect on how people understand the motion being discussed, and you think that the particular motion being discussed at the time should be voted on later. And that would be a motion to table, or a motion to divide the question. If you feel that there are really two separate things being discussed, kind of mushed together in one motion, and the discussion would be facilitated by separating that, you can make a motion to divide the question. And finally, I think a commonly heard thing is a point of order. So while it's not really a motion, a point of order, it is really a motion. A point of order would be having to do with the specifics of the discussion. So if you can't hear what's being said, you can stand up and make a point of order and ask that the speakers speak more loudly. Or if you feel that the discussion is completely out of order, that irrelevant things are being brought into the conversation, that it's taking up the time of the meeting for something that's not relevant to the motion, you can make a point of order and express that. So those are kind of the most common motions, and there's nothing really secretive or hard about this stuff. We really try to keep town meeting as friendly as possible, particularly to people who might not be experts in Robert's rules. I certainly am not, and we don't expect anybody else to be. And yeah, so those are the common motions that we often see made.
Yeah, I've definitely seen and heard people go up to the mic and kind of stumble through those pieces, and it's not a big deal at all. We're just corrected and then we move forward and it's totally fine. Thanks for those overviews. If someone has a question, how does someone ask it?
So the way to ask a question is to approach any microphone in the room, and I will, or the moderator will, recognize the person at the microphone. Just so everyone knows, I'm not all seeing, and I'm not adverse if I haven't seen you at the microphone to somebody waving their hands and saying, Madam Moderator, which will allow me to recognize them for whatever question they have. And more important than that, questions are definitely encouraged. Usually, if you have a question, somebody else in the room has the same question. Often many people have the same question. And even if it has something to do with your own desire to make a motion, that is exactly what the moderator is there for, to help people to feel comfortable doing that thing and to empower the voters to take charge of the meeting and make sure that their questions and opinions and votes are all counted and heard.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for your time. For more information about town meeting and the town moderator, please visit the Town of Westford website, westfordma.gov. There you'll find direct links to the town meeting and town moderator pages. And for more information about the League of Women Voters of Westford, please visit lwv.westford.org. Thanks for watching.